Welcome back to the Future Quake Show. I am Dr. Future.
And I am Tom Bionic.
And we're back for Friday, which means it is what?
Time to do some news.
Tomorrow's Tremors, or today's review of the Future's news.
Yeah, you have all these official names for this stuff, and I'm glad that you remember them all because sometimes I forget my own name.
Have you not been around or something? Is this you just wandered in the studio? Or
you mean this isn't sports talk? Sorry.
Yeah, okay. But we have news for people.
Yeah.
Do we have news? Speaking of news, I hope everybody got to hear Mish this week and got to really enjoy it.
My goodness. You know, Mish has taught me more about economics than most of my teachers in college.
Well, yeah, and he brought me from crayons to perfume.
I don't know what that means exactly.
Have you ever heard of a song called To Sir With Love by Lulu?
No.
To Sir With Love was sort of like the seminal song of the 60s culture.
Uh-huh.
With Sidney Poitier in a British school where he takes these ragtag kids and makes them into young ladies and young adults. And then Lulu sings this song, if you wanted the sky, right across the sky in letters. You hear that? That would soar 1,000 feet.
Dude, I was like minus.
To Sir With Love.
I was like minus 10 in the 60s.
Yeah, but you know they've rerun that movie since then.
Do you know how many TV channels I get at my house?
It's a cultural icon.
One.
You get one channel?
Yeah.
What are you in Montana and you commute in? Nothing against some of our Montana friends.
Now that you're bashing all of our fine listeners at Montana.
No.
No, I just don't watch much TV, man.
But you can only get one channel?
Yeah.
You can't even get the other local Nashville channels?
I don't know. I've never tried.
There's a dial thing. If you twist it,
but I mean,
get other channels.
But, well, you know, you look at my TV and you would see that it doesn't really look like a TV. It looks like a scientific dirt experiment.
Your TV?
Yeah. Because I've never watched it, never turn it on.
Does it look like one of those TVs where they find somebody dead in an apartment after 20 years where their skeleton is sitting in the chair and there's cobwebs on the TV?
Well, I can't say that I've ever actually seen that, but
yeah, there's stories about that occasionally.
Oh, really?
Even though they say, we thought something smelled funny in that apartment.
Did we cover one of those stories like that a couple of months ago?
Well, there was one where these people bought a house in Detroit.
Yeah,
and the guy was dead in there for a long, long time, and the house had changed hands 5 or 6 times, but nobody had bothered to take the plywood off and find a dead person. Who was the original owner dead in there?
The guy's name was Johnson, I recall.
How do you remember that?
Well, you know, how we were talking a couple of months ago about the different ways we think? I can remember little details and plug them into things. Yeah. But I'm not really good on either taking direction or long-term projects. You, however, are detail and long-term project oriented.
And I will confirm that you're not good at taking directions. But I meant that in a nice way. I was just trying to agree with
Thanks.
you. Yeah. I guess we got some stories to review.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think it's your turn.
We got in the habit of going over some emails first.
Oh, yeah. Let's do the emails.
Just have a few of them, and then we'll get on to the stories. Enough of this foolishness. I feel like the Three Stooges. Come on, the girls will be here in a minute.
Except there's only 2 of us.
There's only 2
Wait,
of us.
No,
well, we got
Pyro's here. Yeah.
Pyro has a sense not to participate.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from our friend Al, who dropped us an email. Thank you so much, Al. It says, love your show. Those are my favorite emails. I'm wondering if your podcast is down. Thanks. Al, thank you for giving us a heads up. Turned out Dr. Future was meddling with the software, and actually I went and had David Lowe, who's been one of our first guests here on the new Future Quake. He's an expert in those kind of things. Contacted him. He was able to debug it, and we corrected it. Now it's working. So if... First of all, I wanted to express thanks to Al on air, and also let anybody else know who's catching it via iTunes. If you type Future Quake in iTunes, you'll see our show there. Tell all your friends about that. If you're one of those hip kind of people that plugs your little podcast thingy into your computer and download it automatically. If actually going to futurequake.com and clicking the MP3 is too much to ask, we've done that too. Short of actually broadcasting in your own living room. That's
show up, sit down in the front seat. Hey, what do you got for dinner?
Well, you know, there's still some people that wouldn't listen if we do that. But anyway, Al, thank you so much, brother. Take care and keep listening, okay? Mm-hmm. Got another email from someone who had been talking about us about seeing if we could get on in Dallas. Mm-hmm. And somebody says, Dr. Future, it was I. They mentioned who it was that was doing this, and this was our friend Joan, who's talked to us before. She said, actually, I had been listening to Janet Parshall, who also comes on this same station, earlier as I was out doing errands. When I got back in the car, there you were. She didn't mean I was in her car, but the Future Quake was on.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait a minute, dude.
Yeah.
You're riding around with this
Future's
person?
Listening. So thank goodness I did not change the station, and we're thank goodness
you.
too, as I would have likely done before giving you a chance. Forget the topic that day. Just caught the tail end.
We have topics?
Oh, she says, you remind me of Click and Clack for cars. You know who Click and Clack are?
Yeah. I do.
I guess that's a compliment.
Do you know who Click and Clack are?
Yeah.
Car Talk, man.
Yeah.
That's a huge compliment.
Yeah, the Marciatos or whatever their name is. Yeah. So anyway, Joan, thank you so much. And Joe, thank you for passing on the word to your friend Sue. Mm-hmm. And we would love to get on in Dallas or any other community. We'd like to even get on in Neva, Kansas. Mm-hmm. Do you have any friends in Neva, Kansas?
Actually, my family on my mother's side are huge Kansanites.
Really? I didn't know that's what they were. I thought that's what Superman was.
Kanzonians? It sounds like a pizza.
To Kansanite. Do you know how many people live in Neva, Kansas?
4. I don't know.
4 too many. 0. 0 people live in Neva. And our friend Kirk, who also helped us with our website, mentioned that to me one time. So I try to use Neva, Kansas whenever I can.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see here. Here's just 2 more quickies. This was the friend Sue who was referenced. Are you carried by any Dallas radio stations? Call, letters, or time? Friend in Nashville told me about your show. And that friend was Joan. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to set the example for our listeners. Here's how things like Future Quake spread around. People emailing other people saying, hey, check this show out.
Check these guys out. They're nuts.
Yeah. There, but for the grace of God, go us. And bottom line, Sue, we would love to be on in Dallas. If you can nose around too, and we'll work with you, and we'll make that happen. And we'll be... I don't know if Dallas is ready for us or not, but we would be glad to be there in Dallas.
Isn't Alex Jones on? No, he's Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's not.
I wonder if we could get on.
He's not
Alex
as provocative Jones as we are.
This is true.
Alex would probably find us a little too intense.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, our last email from Russ talks about guests and podcast. He's sending some suggestions on guests. He says, "Okay, I vote for Chuck Missler." Which, by the way, we're trying to get a hold of Chuck Missler and his gang. Mm-hmm. He told me a long time ago in an elevator once he'd come on our show. Haven't been able to get a hold of him since then, or actually just one other time since then.
I don't blame him. He's a busy dude.
He shouldn't be too busy for Future Quake.
Well, no, but
he wants to reach millions of people.
Look. I'm just saying that he does a lot.
If we played our show 1 million times in a row, we would reach millions of people.
Yeah.
But anyway, if y'all have it in good, Russ or anybody else with Chuck Missler, just deluge him with emails.
Yeah.
Just
hammer him with emails. I'd like to get him on.
Even if you know where he lives, go outside his house and
that's
megaphone.
Isn't that Coeur d'Alene?
Yeah, that's the city.
Yeah, it's where his ministry is.
However, he also votes for Jan Markle of Olive Tree Views. A name I see come up a lot of time too.
Really?
That's somebody who I think would fit well with us.
Okay.
Let's see here. It would be nice to find someone who really digs into technology and the internet. I don't know who that would be, honestly. Certainly not us, given the way we perform here.
Speak for yourself.
Let's see. And he mentions a few people that might want to take a look at. And he also gave a heads up about the iTunes thing, which, by the way, is fixed, hopefully, Russ.
Yeah.
And then he finishes very nicely. He says, thanks for the great show on the 18th of July. Russ, I want to thank you personally. I want to read your email again to show gratitude that you bother to give us feedback.
Thank you, brother.
And that you listen. Please tell everybody you know about that.
Yep.
And we'll keep trying to get Chuck cornered. Mm-hmm. And maybe we'll just send boxes of these emails for people wanting him on. Yep. Okay, you got a story for us?
No, I went first last week.
Oh, you want me to go?
I would like you to go. Unless you really want me to go.
No, I don't.
It's up to you. It's up to you, sir.
We're just time's wasted.
All right, I'll go.
Oh, I thought you would give in.
Well, I did give in.
Okay,
go for it. Twisted my arm here. This one, I actually, I brought this one sort of in honor of our buddy Mish, The FDIC chair said more banks are in danger and the premiums are expected to rise. The chairwoman of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation said Tuesday more banks are in danger of failing.
That's the FDIC.
Yes.
The kind of thing that people
FDIC,
see at their banks.
You see a little gold stamp on the side of the teller window there?
That says that's why you never have to worry. Your money's FDIC insured. You can breathe easy. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Well, and just in some of the stuff that I've been checking out, the FDIC has $58 billion right around there in a checking or in an account to cover all of the stuff. Well, there's $2.62 trillion out there of potential bank failures.
People's deposits that could theoretically need covering.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying.
I'm sorry.
No, I tend to speak too fast.
Well, we do that for each other.
It's true. We
each represent the listener on the reader's behalf.
Yes. So anyway, she's saying she was in San Francisco on Tuesday in a campaign to reassure consumers that up to $100,000 they have in a bank, failed or not, is protected by a program that's been in place since the bank failures of the late 1920s. For certain retirement accounts, deposits of up to $250,000 are covered. Bear said in an interview with the Associated Press that she expects turbulence in the banking industry to continue well into next year and more banks to appear on the FDIC's count of troubled institutions. One of the things Mish pointed out is when IndyMac failed.
Wasn't even on the list until the last minute.
Up until, there were banks on there for months and months and months, and then IndyMac all of a sudden was on the list about a month before.
And I noticed, now I hate to say bad things about people, but I recollect that Bankrate.com has given that bank and others halfway decent ratings.
Well,
now they're probably getting that information from another third party.
Well, and don't quote me on this, listeners, but I seem to recall reading a story sometime this week that the S&P, Moody's, and one of the other ratings agencies was getting sued or something.
Oh, really?
I thought somebody was suing them for just that, for giving a rating that they didn't agree with or something. I don't know.
Or not doing their job.
Or it could be that.
Yeah.
I don't. It's all very sketchy in my melon, but by now our listeners have come to expect that with me.
Sketchy melon.
Let's see. She also goes on and says, the article also goes on and says, only 13% of banks that make the list fail on average, Bear said. Most are nursed back to health or acquired by stronger institutions. The FDIC's reserve fund is expected to drop after IndyMac's losses are accounted for, but the reserve should weather the future payouts, she said. Healthy banks would have to make up the shortfall with higher fees. The FDIC is required to keep a reserve fund totaling 1.15% of estimated insured deposits.
1.15%?
Of estimated insured deposits.
So, like, if more than, say, 1 out of 96 banks fail or so, they don't have enough.
Correct.